Hello, and welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for September of 2023. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas, and I'm in San Francisco, California.
Let's take a look at what's happening this month. Well, Taurus, Juno is traveling along through the sign of Leo, which means your fourth house. Now, this is an asteroid goddess to do with networking, connecting with people. She is a natural partner, and she has to do with committed relationships. And so she can refer to relationships that are personal or relationships that are business. But in the fourth house, she definitely leans more towards the personal relationships. Wherever Juno goes is a really good time to bring a sense of collaboration and partnership to whatever area she's passing through. And so this is a really good time to get into some great dialogues with any partner that you may have in the domestic sphere, whether that's, somebody that you're married to, somebody that you live with, potentially a housemate, certainly, or a spouse, and even a co-parent. And this is a really good time for having the dialogues and conversations with them that can have things end up feeling fair around the house and like you're really pulling together on the same team, and that can feel really good. Another thing about Juno in the fourth house is that Juno is the hostess. She is such a social maven. She likes to invite people over. She wants to feel proud of your home, and she wants you to express your creativity in the decor of your home so that it really has the stamp of your personality on it. And that can feel so good to invite people over into this home that is such a unique expression of who you really are. And Juno's definitely good for that stuff. She's going to be in this house until mid-October, so through the rest of this month. Now, Ceres is traveling along through Libra, and if what I'm about to say sounds like you've heard it before, don't be surprised, because she's been in and out of this house ever since February. So wherever Ceres goes, she brings some very practical concerns: food, body, and money. This being a house of health, that's kind of a perfect combination. She's very interested in how you can set up good routines and rhythms to be doing all of the things that you need to be doing to stay healthy and to have some good longevity, such as taking vitamins, such as flossing your teeth, such as taking a shower every day instead of every other day, because everybody's living on Zoom now. She also is very much about the animals in your life, pets and so forth. And this, I'm remembering, traditionally in astrology, is a house of small animals. And so Ceres in the sixth house can be all about cultivating your pets in the best possible way, really enjoying the coziness of having pets, and getting into some really good routines in terms of how you take care of them. Ceres is going to move out of this house mid-month and on into your seventh house right there on the 15th. And Ceres in the seventh house brings a lot of her concerns into your partnership. She does like to be very grounded and practical wherever she goes. And if you have a committed partner, such as a spouse or a business partner, this could be a really good time for discussions to do with money, or conversations that really get down to brass tacks in terms of practical solutions to problems that the two of you have been dealing with. And she does, however, struggle while passing through Scorpio, and this is a bit of a caution. When Ceres is in Scorpio, she can be particularly possessive and potentially insecure. So don't let those conversations devolve into being sort of like exercises in power and control dynamics, especially about money. Jupiter is going to go retrograde this month. Now, Jupiter is the luck bringer, and he starts out the month in your first house, and he's going to be in this house all month. And that's really great news, because, I mean, he's going to be here all year is what I mean to say. Jupiter moves slowly enough that it takes him a year to pass through a single house, and he'll usually do his retrograde and direct dance in a single house in your chart each year. And wherever he goes, he brings luck and opportunity, confidence and charisma, and no place better for that stuff than the first house, which is your house of identity and self. This is the house of the actions that you take and how you show yourself to be the kind of person you are through the actions that you take. Jupiter in this house produces what I like to call a year of personal charisma. And it can be so wonderful to have Jupiter here because it can feel like things generally are going your way and things want to go your way. And you can feel so filled up with enthusiasm and excitement for some project that other people just get sucked into your charismatic wake and are pulled along by the force of your enthusiasm. And so you can find yourself lucking into a lot of help and support based on how enthusiastic you are about something that you're trying to do. One caution that I do want to give, though, is that if you're already a person who is abundant in confidence and even charisma, and it's fairly easy for you to get people to follow you in a given direction once you strike off in it, then the warning that I have is don't let yourself become too big for your britches. Don't let yourself become overconfident or try to bank on your charisma too much, because that kind of overconfident behavior and like superior attitude can repel the very people that you really wish would be supporting you right now. Hey, Julia, what's up with Venus, Mercury, and Mars for the Tauruses of the world?
Well, hey there, Taurus. Venus, your ruling planet, starts the month retrograde, but she goes direct very early on September 3rd, which is great news for you because, well, Venus and Ceres are both ruling planets for you. You know, traditionally it's Venus, but Ceres, the asteroid of food, body, and money, also is, co-rules it. Venus. But, since you're somebody who cares a lot about relationships, a Venus retrograde cycle is going to be kind of frustrating. It's a time of relationship review for us all, and it happens over a few weeks. This all happened in your fourth house of family, home, and the past. Now, Venus retrogrades are notorious for having exes come out of nowhere. And since this is happening in the fourth house of your past, it could be people you dated a really, really long time ago. Maybe crushes that you had when you were in college or earlier than that, if you're older now, just kind of coming out of the woodwork. Now, Venus retrograde, if you're in a relationship, it could mean that this is a time of review in terms of whether you guys are good domestic partners together. The fourth house is also a family house, so maybe you're contemplating family things with your partner, like should you have a family together? Should you work on family stuff together if you already do have a family? And if you're single, then you could be sort of thinking about taking sort of inventory, so to speak, in terms of your next relationship, about fourth house stuff, how to sort of build a nest with a partner, and whether you want to create a family the next time around. Now, September 3rd, Venus is going to go direct. Things are going to get a lot better after that. And I would say that Venus direct in the fourth house can make one quite a homebody, because it means that you're just going to get so much pleasure from being at home and hanging with your partner at home or spending time with your family that you're probably not going to want to go out a lot, which is really just fine. Save more money that way. Venus direct in the fourth can also mean you're cooking at home more, watching movies more at home, inviting friends over to enjoy your home together. Now, Mercury is also going to go direct this month, but on the 15th, he starts the month retrograde in your fifth house. This is a house of children. This is a house of dating, games, and creativity. When Mercury is retrograde, it's also a time of review and miscommunications too. If you have children, you could have miscommunications with them. If you're currently dating, you could be having miscommunications, which can sometimes really make things very, very complicated. You know, if you think somebody is not polyamorous and they are, for example. So really make sure to, clear things, be a little patient, and, you might have to go back over some conversations. Mercury retrograde also in the fifth house might be a time of reviewing any creative projects that you're involved in, or things that you do for fun, your hobbies too. Now, on September 6th, Mercury conjoins the sun while retrograde. We call that Lesser Epiphany Day. It's a time of insights in your life, and you could be having insights into matters like children. Maybe you're thinking, I want some, maybe I don't want some. You could be having insights into some gaming strategies of yours if you're a big gamer, as well as insights into the people you are dating too. Then when Mercury goes direct on September 15th, all of this squirreliness will get a lot easier to deal with, especially a week afterwards when Mercury is really going back up to speed in the sky. And then it can be a lovely time for just enjoying communication with your children, thinking about dating, and, having your mind on more pleasurable things. Finally, Mars, planet of action and activity, is in your 6th house all month. Now, Mars has a bit of a challenging side to it. He can bring up conflict. He can bring up frustrations. And the 6th house is a house of health, a house of work. It's also a house of your sort of rituals, your routines. These are all 6th house things. So the hard part of this transit is it can sometimes bring up chronic issues, like infections, like a UTI, or, blood-related issues like anemia or inflammation or headaches or all that kind of stuff. But Mars also gives you the ability to really be driven by routines too. So you can actually put some new routines in place to help you with health issues that come up. Mars in the 6th can be a time of frustration at work, frustration with coworkers or within your working environment, but you could also be very driven at work at the same time, also get a lot of good work done. So Mars in the 6th, I always say, is just the best for getting a good workout routine in. Try to just sort of schedule a little bit of time every day to get a little Mars energy out. Maybe go for a power walk, maybe do a cardio class or whatever it is, because when you put routine to your Mars while he's in the 6th, he's going to be a lot better behaved.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Jamie here. Horoscopes and moon videos are fascinating, but they're also not personalized for you. That's why we run live workshops monthly where you can get answers about your own chart. This month's topic is optimizing Mercury retrograde for writers, managers, and learners. Mercury retrogrades are notorious for making a mess of your office, your paperwork, your projects, and your brain. But it doesn't have to be that way. In this workshop, I'll explain how to handle this difficult transit just in time for back to school. This workshop is expressly for our Demigod Patreon subscribers who pay only $15 a month for access to live events like this one. It's easy to sign up at the Patreon link in the description below. I'd love to see you there. Now let's get back to the video. Well, let's start the month with the first of this month's moons. And that is a new moon in Virgo landing here in your 5th house. New moons are times for new beginnings. A new moon in Virgo is a really great time for a new project, working on something that you can do that has a lot of detail that can really keep you busy and occupied, especially landing the way this does in your 5th house. And Julia was talking a few minutes ago about how Mercury in the 5th house can really engage your mind. Well, this one can too. And this would be a really great time for starting a new creative project that has a lot of detail work that it calls for that will keep you really busy and really engaged and really absorbed for a while. Now, it would be good also if this project doesn't just have a practical component, although the moon in Virgo likes that quite a bit, but also has an impractical component, something about it that adds to the meaning in your life, or maybe contributes to a community that you're a part of as a form of giveaway. And that can be really sweet under a moon like this with the opposition to Neptune. So we're calling this one Seeds of Selfless Service. And it could be like a creative project that results in an art installation, or like organizing a bunch of people to paint a mural together on your community building. Those kind of things could be really gratifying seeds to plant under this new moon in Virgo for you, Taurus. So then we have the second of this month's moons, which is a full moon in Aries, and that's happening on the 29th. And it's landing right here in your 12th house. Now, when the moon is in Aries, it can be pretty fiery, pretty feisty, pretty intense, pretty willful, impulsive, and driven. This particular moon, though, is likely more to drive you inward. This might be the kind of moon where you find yourself getting all fired up and angry, and all you really want to do is go hide your head in a hole, or maybe put it in a bucket of cold water, and that might not be a bad idea. We're calling this moon the sacred fire of self-care because there's an opposition between the moon in Aries, which really just wants to explode and go off half-cocked and can be, very hastily jumping into stuff without thinking first. And that's opposite to the Sun and Pallas Athena in Libra, which are much more cool and level-headed, but also maybe never pull the trigger at all. And then the whole thing is being wielded by Vesta in Cancer, who cares very much about self-care and wants to create a sacred space for that and to create that balance. So she's all about managing that balance. And while the moon in Aries might suppress that anger and like it so that it can then explode in another way at another time, and the Sun and Pallas Athena might be pulling for just being only rational without feeling it all, but Vesta is very much going to have her eye on how can these things be balanced. And when it comes to the rational factor, you have only to look to your coworkers who will probably have some rational thoughts about how you can handle your anger. But then when it comes to actually processing any anger or intense, fiery emotions that you might be having, you might prefer to do that on your own. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the seasonal change, which happens on the 23rd. But let me go a little bit earlier in the month, say around the 14th, because you can see that there's this general flow in this season where there's some stuff going on in your fourth house, bringing attention to home and family and life on the domestic front, and some great goddesses there to help you out. But then there's also, especially approaching the middle of the month, plenty of activity going on in your fifth house, making you want to enjoy, have fun, play, recreate, entertain, and be entertained. And it's a really good way to spend your time because everything has its season, and entertainment has its place in our days. So, but then later on in the month, the sun will change signs and move on into your sixth house. And there it is, appearing in early Libra. And wherever the sun goes, we want to shine the sunlight of our high quality attention so that things can thrive and flourish. And this constitutes a shift away from an emphasis on fun and play and entertainment and creativity and self-expression and self-absorption, and instead turning that attention and energy towards being a hard worker, being effective, being efficient, being humble, and being of use. And that is a really great place to put your attention for the 30 days following September 23rd, as the sun passes through your sixth house. And you can also do really great things by putting high quality attention on your coworkers and just making your workplace a place where people are who feel special, who feel noticed, who feel cultivated by your sunny gaze.
Well, that's all we have for you today. If you love Pandora Astrology's free and informative horoscopes, then please do hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share these videos with your friends.
You can find out so much more about how this month's transits affect you in very personal timing in our monthly Patreon workshops. Find the link in the description below to get started. Enjoy the equinox, and until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos.
Bye-bye.